Hare Krishna. Tam Visipadam Saprivrajitare Astotra Sachi Shiva. His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vindaya Pavishta Om Vishnupadam Saprivrajitare Astotra Sachi Shiva. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nantakoti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Jai Sri Rupa Sri Sanatan Sri Jiva Gopala Bhata Dasa Raghunath Sattva Swami Prabhu Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Shri Ho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Govina Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Brajabhumi Vrindavan Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Shri Namadipman Govardhan Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Sanatana Bhusha Ki Jai. Samveda Bhaktabinda Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the Sammo devotees. All glories to the Sammo devotees. All glories to the Sammo devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Guru and Sri Gauranga. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavani Paschatadeshari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today, continue reading from the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the creative impetus, chapter 13. Rahugana converses with, canto 5, chapter 13. Rahugana converses with Jatavara. The text number 23. Namaha Mahabhyo Stu Namaha Sisabhyo Namaha Yavibhyo Namaha Abhatubhya Ye Brahmana Gam Abu Abaduta Linga Charanti Devya Sivam Astu Pragyam Namo Mahabhyostu Namasisabhyo Namo Yubhabhyo Nama Abhutabhya Ye Brahmanangam Abhudhuta Linga Charanti Devyam Shivam Asturagyam Namo Mahabhyostu Namasisabhyo Ye Brahmanangam Abhudhuta Linga. Namo Yubhabhyo Nama Abhutabhya. Namo Yubhabhyo Nama Shivang Ashturagya. Namo Mahavyostu Namasi Shubhyo. Namo Yuvabhyo Nama Abhutavya. Ye Brahmanagam Avadhuta Linga. Charanti Devya Shivam Asturagyam.
Namo Mahadyostu Namasi Shubhyo.
Namo Mahavyostu Namasi Shubhyo.
Namo Yuvabhyo Nama Abhutavya.
Namo Yuvabhyo Nama Abhutavya.
Ye Brahmanagam Avadhuta Lingas. Charanti Devya Shivam Asturagyam.
Somebody else?
Namo Mahavyostu Namasi Shubhyo. Namo Yubhyo Nama Abhutavya. Brahmanagam Avadhuta Linga. Devya Shivam Asturajam.
Mataji's?
Namo Mahavyostu Namasi Shubhyo.
Namo Mahavyostu Namasi Shubhyo.
Yuvabhyo Nama Abhutavya.
Namo Yuvabhyo Nama Abhutavya.
Brahmanagam Avadhuta Linga.
Avadhuta Linga.
Devya Shivam Asturajam.
Charanti Devya Shivam Asturagyam. Word for word learning. Namaha. All obeisances. Mahavya. And to the great personalities. Astu. Let there be. Namaha. My obeisances. Shishubhya. Unto those great personalities who appear as boys. Namaha. Respectful obeisances. Yubhabhya. Unto those who appear as young men. Namaha. Respectful obeisances. Abhatubhya. Unto those who appear as children. Yea, all those who. Brahmana. Self-realized in transcendental knowledge. Gam. The earth. Avadhuta Linga. Who remain hidden under different bodily guises. Charanti. They traverse. Devya. From them. Shivam Ashtu. Let there be all good fortune. Ragyam. Unto the royal dynasties or kings who are always very puffed up. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the great personalities, whether they walk on the earth's surface as children, young boys, abhadutas, or great brahmanas. Even if they are hidden under different guises, I offer my respects to all of them. By their mercy, may there be good fortune in the royal dynasties that are always offending them. Purport. King Rahugana was very repentant because he had forced Janardhan to carry his palanquin. He therefore began offering prayers to all kinds of brahmanas and self-realized persons, even though they might be playing like children or hiding in some guises. The four Kumaras walked everywhere in the guise of 5-year-old boys. And similarly, there are many brahmanas, knowers of Brahman, who traverse the globe either as young men, children, or avadutas. Being popped up due to their position, the royal dynasties generally offend these great personalities. Therefore, King Rahugana began to offer his respectful obeisances unto them, so that the offensive royal dynasties might not glide down into hellish conditions. If one offends a great personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not excuse one, although the great personalities themselves may not take offense. Maharaj Ambarish was offended by Durvasa, who even approached Lord Vishnu for pardon. Lord Vishnu would not grant him pardon, therefore he had to fall down at the lotus feet of Maharaj Ambarish. Even though Maharaj Ambarish was a Kshatriya Grihastha, one should be very careful not to offend the lotus feet of Vaishnavas and Brahmanas. Om Vyānatityamasya Gyananyanasaraya Chakshuram Dilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Buddhale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Slavanantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jitapadakamanam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sarjatam Sadhana Gunatam Nitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Paritana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sadhanam Amitam Shri Sakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinamando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Yusavano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vanchakalpatarudescha Vivasindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavadebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Mahabhyostu Namah Sishubhyo Namo Yubhabhyo Namah Abhudabhya Ye Brahmanagam Avadhuta Lingas Charanti Devyam Shivam Ashturabhyam. One time, during Srila Prabhupada's visit in Montreal, there was an elderly Indian gentleman, and he would be present most of the programs Prabhupada conducted. He was there, not saying anything, But on the last program that Srila Prabhupada did, this Indian gentleman started to say many things against Srila Prabhupada. And the devotees, they were all disturbed. He was saying, why are you talking about this Indian philosophy, Sanatana Dharma, this doesn't work these days, many things. Practically not favorable. So when Prabhupada returned back to the temple, he told one of his disciples to please call that elderly gentleman. And the disciples, they were all surprised. So one of the disciples asked Prabhupada, what is the reason? Why you want to call him? You're already blasting everything that you're saying, everything against what you said. And Prabhupada says that I must have done something wrong in my past life. That's why he did this to me. So I have to ask for forgiveness. Also, the last days of Srila Prabhupada, he also asked forgiveness to all of his god brothers, because due to preaching, he might have something that he said that offended them. So he asked for forgiveness. In executing a devotional service, one may have been covered by many material desires, but this can be counteracted by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you commit offenses while chanting, that will be also counteracted by chanting more Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If one offends the deities while doing worship, deity Shiva, one can also chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra or a chapter from the Bhagavad Gita. If one commits offenses while visiting the Holy Dham, then one can also keep chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, especially in the Holy Dham also. Because it may take a long time chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra if you chant outside of the Holy Dham, if you commit offenses in the Holy Dham. If one commits offenses to other living entities, especially Sadhu, Vaishnava, first offense in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, to blaspheme the devotees who dedicated their lives, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or propagating the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It is not possible to counteract this by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One has to ask forgiveness to the Vaishnava whom one offended. Srila Jiva Swami says this, that Vaishnava Parad is very detrimental in one's execution of devotional service. One can go to hell. The lotus feet of a pure devotee can give one love of God, or it can give one path to the hellish planets. Siddhartha ki jai, Krishna Balaram ki jai, and the cows there. CC Radhesham Lalita Vishakadevi ki jai. Srila Jiva Goswami says that if you have a thorn somehow while doing parikrama, you got thorn in your heel, you cannot treat it by taking the thorn from the shoulder. Just like if you commit an offense to a Vaishnava, then it's not possible to ask forgiveness from the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord does not accept it, because in the hearts of his pure devotees, the Lord resides. The one who got hurt is not the devotee whom one got offended, but it is the Lord who got hurt. The devotees resides in the heart of the Supreme Lord, and the Lord resides within the hearts of his devotees. So one has to ask forgiveness from the devotee or the Vaishnava that one made the offense. And here, Maharaj Rahugana is asking forgiveness, so to speak. He's repentant. He's offering obeisances many, many times. The word Namaha was mentioned many times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. Namaha. Obeisances means not just physically doing dandavats, but also internally, through words, through the mind, through one's action. One must be very extra careful, especially in dealing with devotees. So Maharaj Rahugana, he understood the position of Jada. Jada is not an ordinary soul, he's a great soul, he's a Mahatma. Because he knows the transcendental knowledge that was imparted to him. He understood that anyone who realized the Supreme Absolute Truth is worth giving respect. Either they're a child or a young boy or an Avaduta, Brahmanas, what to say of Vaishnavas. And Srila Prabhupada gave an example here about the 4 Kumaras, Sanak, Sanatan, Sananda, and Sanatan. Sanak, Sananda, Sanak, and Sanat Kumar. The 4 Kumaras. They are the eldest living entities in this universe. They are the first to come out from Lord Brahma. But because of their austerities and transcendental knowledge, being yogis, they only look like 5-year-old boys. They didn't grow up. And they have this privilege, just like any child. You can see a young boy or young girl, they are free to go anywhere. All access pass. Because they're innocent. But especially the 4 Kumaras, they are sinless. And they only go to places where there is no sin. So they became curious. They want to find out the Supreme Lord. They want to see Lord Narayan. And somehow or other, they reached the Vaikuntha planets. In the beginning, they were impersonalists. They passed through the 6 gates. There are 7 gates leading to the Vaikuntha. Just like in South India. What is that place? Sri Ranga. We went there also. Before entering the main temple area, we had to take bath many, many times. Correct? So that from different kund, from different wells, so that as soon as you reach that place where the Lord giving his darshan, then practically you're no more sin. And you feel very light. And by the time you reach that place also, you're almost dried up. Mystical. So the 4 Kumaras, they were barred by these 2 doorkeepers, Jai and Vijay. They were not allowed to see the Supreme Lord, Lord Narayan. And the 4 Kumaras, they were surprised. What is this? No one can enter even up to the first gate of Vaikuntha if you have sinned, if you are not pure enough. So practically speaking, they should be allowed going inside. So they became angry. Anger can be used also in Krishna consciousness, in these different anarthas: lust, anger, greed, madness, delusion, envy, hatred. They all can be used for Krishna service, but not envy. Envy doesn't exist in this spiritual world. So, they were angry because they want to see the Supreme Lord, but they were stuck. And so they cursed this Jai and Vijay, the two doorkeepers, who later on took birth in the womb of Diti as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, the two biggest demons. And Lord Narayan, he knew what was going on, because it says that the master is responsible for the actions of his servants. So ultimately, it is the master who should be blamed. So we must be very careful as well, because especially in India, we all know that we are members of ISKCON and our spiritual master is Srila Prabhupada. So we must be careful also in our etiquette, conduct, the way we act, especially the eyes of people, so that Srila Prabhupada will not get criticized. And if they do criticize Srila Prabhupada, then it will be not good for those who criticize Prabhupada. That's why Prabhupada told us we should eat in right hand, not left hand. So, the Supreme Lord, Lord Narayan, he allowed the 4 Kumaras to be given this curse, be accomplished, be fulfilled. But they were given choice, either to take birth, how many times? 3 births as a devotee, and more as a
The other way around.
oh, the other way, 3 births as a demon, and how many births as a devotee? 7 births as a demigod, devotee. But they chose to be demons so that they can expedite their return to their seva. So, Maharaj Rahugana is like this. He was offering his obeisances to these different personalities. Either they're children, young boys, avadutas, or great brahmanas who walked amongst us in the surface of the earth. Srila Prabhupada also is compared to the 4 Kumaras due to his transcendental knowledge and his childish-like character. Even though Srila Prabhupada considered as old, Prabhupada says that old age starts at 70. That's the time when Srila Prabhupada journeyed from India to the west. But Srila Prabhupada can be said that he is better than the Kumaras, because the Kumaras, they don't go to places where there is sin. But Prabhupada, he went to places where there are much more sin, like the Western world. So, opulence is not very good. Beauty is not good also if it's considered, it is considered as detrimental also in spiritual path, because one can be puffed up. Just like Maharaj Rahugana, who's in the royal dynasty as a king. There's a tendency that because due to wealth or beauty or strength or knowledge, that one can become proud. That one may offend others, thinking that I'm better than others. Even though they have these different opulences, they may still envy others. Envy means someone has excelled me from something and I want to be better than him. If not equal, but better than him. And I will do anything and everything to do this, to be more better than him. And this is the root cause of offenses. And there are three kinds that one can offend. A devotee or other living beings. Through the mind. It starts through the mind. Then through verbal. And then ultimately superlative of them all is through action. So one must guard oneself even through the mind, not to think ill of others. Criticizing. This is very, very detrimental. I made a note here. It says there are 4 kinds of blasphemy to a devotee. For his or her apparent low birth caste or caste. Sometimes a devotee may say, oh, he's an American sannyasi. And here is an Indian sannyasi. I think the Indian sannyasi is better than the American sannyasi. Because Indian sannyasi, oh, they know. They're more knowledgeable. They're much better. And the American sannyasi, maybe from his previous life, before coming to Krishna consciousness, he did so many sinful activities. Therefore, he's lesser. That is not so. For past, previous sinful activities prior to one's surrender to Lord Krishna, this is the criteria that we should try to see in everyone. The primary characteristic of a devotee is that he is surrendered unto the Supreme Lord. Everything else follows after that. So it doesn't matter whether he came from lower birth or performed some sinful activities in the past, but because he is surrendered now, then everything is good. For some unpremeditated accidental fall down. Again, for some sinful activities in the past that somehow one performed some sinful activity at present, but because it is unpremeditated, and at the same time he continues to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, continues performing devotional service, is still considered as a sadhu, therefore one should not blaspheme that devotee. And for the last traces of his or her previous sins or faults that are almost rectified. Not until we are completely 100% pure, then there may be some traces from our past that we're not able to completely nullify or give it up. Just like Prabhupada gave an example of a fan. You unplug the fan, and the fan may be still going. But after some time, the fan will stop from rotating. So, don't criticize anybody. The devotees, they don't envy the materialists. The materialists, they envy devotees because devotees are always happy. But sometimes devotees may also criticize or envy another devotee. Because there are three kinds of devotees: Kanista, Madhyam, and Uttama. So usually, those who criticize another devotee, a devotee to another devotee, are those who are in the lowest rank, the Kanistas. Because they don't see others. They only see the Lord, and they only see themselves. There's no love there, because they want so many material desires at the same time. The Madhyam platform, they see the Lord, they see the devotees, and they see the others who are favorable towards bhakti, and also they see those who are inimical towards bhakti or the Supreme Lord. But they have love for Krishna. And ultimately, the Uttama Bhakta, he sees everyone as devotees except himself. That's why he gives respect to everyone. The Uttama Bhakta is worth giving respect and obeisances all the time. And they also give respect and obeisances at the same time. But sometimes they may not give back the obeisances, but don't think that this is an offense if they don't give back obeisances to the lower rank, or to the Madhyam, or to the Kanista. Actually, even before we offer obeisances to the Uttama Bhakta, they already pay their obeisances to us through mind. So it's not necessarily. It's like it says that the sannyasis should not offer obeisances back, give back obeisances. So please don't be offended if the sannyasis like us, we don't pay back our obeisances, otherwise we'll be falling flat all the time. But definitely, a devotee of the Lord, he respects everyone because he sees the Supreme Lord as a super soul within everyone's heart. Vidya, Vinaya, Sampane, Brahmane, Gavi, Hastine, Suni, Chaiva, Sabhake, Cha, Pandita, Samadarsina. This is the meaning of Pandita, a learned person. When we offer obeisances to each other, we don't offer obeisances to the body, we offer obeisances to the super soul. So sometimes devotees, they perform activities which beyond our conception. We're not able to understand how they act. Vaishnavera kriya mudha digneya nabhujiya. Many things they see ahead, so they do something which the result will be for the future. And a deified devotee may not be able to understand their actions, how they're doing this right now, at present, because they're not able to see in the future. So we have to be extra careful in this regards. There are many devotees who did this, like Lord Das Babaji, who would chant his rounds in the latrine. Now, who would like to chant his rounds in the latrine? I don't think no one would like to do it. It's so mochi there. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, this material world is like a latrine. You do your business and get out. But Lord Das Babaji will chant his rounds there because he doesn't want to be disturbed by many so-called admirers who just want some benediction, mundane benediction. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he would roll bidis for the workers for building the temple. Now you may say, what is this? Oh, this is one of the regulative principles. So how come he can roll this bidis cigarette? But he did this for higher purpose, so that the temple will be finished immediately. Many times also, Prabhupada was mentioned like that. Some of the workers here, the Krishna Bala Mandir, they're not following. But for higher purpose, he would do that. So there is a verse here I would like to read for you from Chaitanya Bhagavat, chapter 4 of Antilila, 360-362. Heina Vaishnava Ninda Kare Jana Sipaya Dukha Janma Jivan Marana Vidya Kulata Pasobha Vipala Tahara Vaishnava Mudaye Ye Papi Durachara Puja Utahara Krishna Nakare Grahana Vaishnavera Nindakare Ye Papishta Jana. Mahaprabhu says, anyone who blasphemes Krishna's dear devotee is a great offender. If he offers puja, Krishna never accepts it. His tongue will never utter Krishna's names life after life. He will be put into hell and suffer there. He will lose all of his education, the results of his tapasya, sadhana, and anything else he acquired. So, this is the result of Vaishnava Parad. Durvasa Muni also, he committed an aparad to Maharaj Ambarish. Maharaj Ambarish is a pure devotee of the Lord. He performed these 9 processes of devotional service to the topmost level. The Lord Krishna became so satisfied that he made his chakra. He gave the chakra to Maharaj Ambarish. Chakra is a weapon. Lord Vishnu, he had 4 items in his hands, 4 arms. Chakra, Gada, Shankha, and Padma. 2 for the devotees and 2 for non-devotees. So, Maharaj Ambarish and his wife, they would perform Ekadasi and Dwadasi all year long. So one day, during Kartik, just right now, like Kartik, he performed his tapasya by performing Ekadasi. And the next day was Dwadasi. He was fasting for 3 days. And somehow or other, Durvasa Muni came. So with all respect, Maharaj Ambarish welcomed Durvasa Muni and asked him if there's anything I can do for you, and would like you to also have prasadam. But Durvasa Muni says, I will take prasadam, but I would like to take bath first in Yamuna. Maharaj Ambarish was performing tapasya here in Vrindavan. So now is the time, the prahan, it's time now to break the fast, the last muhurta. So Maharaj Ambarish was now in dilemma. He does not know what to do, but he understood from the Shastra that if one takes water, it is the same as fasting, and at the same time it is the same as not fasting. It's like eating, but at the same time not eating. Fasting and not fasting at the same time. So he was asking the Brahmanas. In the social class, the Brahmanas are considered as higher than Kshatriyas. And the real Kshatriyas, Raja Rishis, they will always confer to the Brahmanas to make proper decision. But the Brahmanas, they don't know what to do also. They cannot make a decision. So Maharaj Ambarish, he decided that I want to break my fast by drinking water. But proper etiquette is that one should not eat before the guest. So, in any case, he drank so that his breath will become complete. And then Durvasa Muni came back, but he has some mystic power. He understood that Durvasa Muni understood that Maharaj Ambarish broke his fast by drinking water. And he became angry at Maharaj Ambarish. This is not proper. And in anger, he took a bunch of hair from wherever it is, if he has some hair, maybe only Sika, but maybe from the Sika, he took a bunch from the Sika. And then he created a very fierce, very fearful demon that could be considered as, he can devastate the whole entire universe. So fiery. It can burn anything, the whole universe. But the chakra was there, protecting his devotee, Maharaj Ambarish. The chakra killed this demon. And now the chakra is going towards Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni fled. Started to run here and there, different planetary systems. He went to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma, please help, help. I don't want to die. Lord Brahma says, what can I do? I cannot do anything. Then he went to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, being so powerful, in a sense, he's more powerful than Lord Brahma. And Lord Shiva says, what can I do? I cannot help you either. This is like, missile following Durvasa Muni. Now there's missile that be able to follow also. It goes here and there. So in those days, this is the original missile, much more powerful. And then he reached up to Vaikuntha planet, and he asked Lord Narayan, please, please, I need some help. What can I do? You better go back to Maharaj Ambarish. He's the only one who can pardon you. So he went back, and as soon as he saw Ambarish Maharaj, Durvasa Muni offered his dandavats and touched his lotus feet. So usually this is the case. Sometimes devotees, when they commit some offenses, they touch the lotus feet the one whom they offended. And Maharaj Ambarish, he didn't consider this as an offense. Actually, what he did, making a demon to kill him, because in heart he is a pure devotee of the Lord. And in a sense, Maharaj Ambarish, he glorified the chakra, of course, glorifying the chakra for protecting. Ultimately, he begged the chakra. Ambarish Maharaj begged the chakra not to kill Durvasa Muni. So we can learn from here that ultimately offending Vaishnava is not very, very good. One must be very, very careful that even though the pure devotee of the Lord or any devotees, they will not take offense if they become offended or if they offended by others. But because the Supreme Lord, who is in the heart of the devotee, will not take it lightly. He's the one who will get hurt. Srila Prabhupada never reject any disciples. Never. But there was one instance, we told this story before. He had a disciple named Aravinda, and Aravinda became offender. the result of when one becomes an offender or criticizer of devotees is that he will lose faith in bhakti and he will fall away. He will not be able to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. He will not be able to do any seva. So this Aravinda left, and then one time when Prabhupada came to a city in America, the devotees saw Aravinda and they invited Aravinda to please come and see Srila Prabhupada. So he came, and Prabhupada welcomed him. Says, if you like, please come and join us, but you have to, follow the way we were doing things. But Aravinda says, no, this Krishna consciousness movement doesn't work. He said, it doesn't work. Indirectly, he's saying that Prabhupada is not genuine. This Krishna consciousness is not real. It is fictitious, phantasmagoria. So Prabhupada says, okay, so you better live. We don't want to see your morose face. Because the more we see you, then the more you will commit offenses. So sometimes the spiritual master will do this to give lesson to the disciple. It is for their own betterment. That somehow, someday they will wake up. Because if they continue, it is better, if one is an offender and criticizes devotees, then it's better that he lives outside. Then after some time, when he rectifies himself and be able to understand the gravity of what he did, and he wakes up, then the door is always open. Krishna will make him think in such a way that he'll be able to make it up, and also be able to be pardoned. So here, Maharaj Raghunatha is like this. He understood the gravity of what he did. He did not know that Janardhan is a pure devotee of the Lord, and he made him a palanquin carrier only. So much so that he asked for forgiveness, and in this way, Janardhan also forgave him. We'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Yes, sir. Can we please ask the one devotee there to please pass the microphone so that everyone can hear? And I don't have to repeat. Or the FM devotees in the FM world can hear also this question.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. This was a wonderful class. My question is, how do we overcome these sins and the offenses that we commit in our mind? They are quite uncontrollable. Meaning, even we know that devotee is very glorious, sometimes out of envy, we ought to commit so. How do we overcome this difficulty?
One way is that we should try to serve this devotee. See, as soon as this unwanted way of thinking start to creep into our mind, we should humbly even say and approach. But usually the ego will not let us do this. Amanena, manadena, kirtanaya sadahari. One should be ready to offer respect to others. If one wants to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. If this started to creep in, you'll not be able. I know when I commit offenses to another devotee, my heart becomes heavy. I can feel immediately that I said something and I've done something wrong to this devotee. Immediately, I will go back to this devotee and ask, please, this is what I did to you, I'm sorry. And sometimes, we do things to correct other devotees, but it should be done not out of envy, not out of false ego. If the devotee also will be able to take of it, then it's good. If not, then what to do? Sometimes it happens. And it happened to me recently. I became angry. Not angry, upset. Upset is different than angry. Upset to one devotee. Because I care with this devotee. If I don't care, if the Guru is not caring for us, he will not chastise us. So if you are criticizing others, but not for good, there's two kinds of criticism. What's that? Positive? Positive criticism? Constructive criticism, and the other criticism is to put the other person down. There's one devotee who came to me the other day, and the devotee says, Maharaj, there is this one Mataji, she's Mataji also, she's asking, every time she talks she criticizes, and I feel hurt. What shall I do? I told her, why don't you go and tell her that you were hurt? Because she cannot correct her. She's more senior. So you please approach her and tell her that you feel hurt whenever you say something criticizing others. So we should be very, very sharp in this, that we don't criticize others, don't blaspheme anybody, and if they started to creep in due to our neophyte mentality, we should approach that person and, is there anything I can do for you? Please instruct. And because the Vaishnava is always forgiving, they always forgive. This is the best way to serve that devotee whom you feel envy of, but it's very difficult. Not so easy. Anything else? Yes, Prabhu, one more question?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Wonderful class. You mentioned that envy does not exist at all in the spiritual world. So, on what is it based in the material world? Because you were told that unless something exists in the spiritual world, it cannot exist here.
The opposite of envy is love. We want to be happy separate from Krishna. That's why we're here in the material world. That is not envy. Envy doesn't exist. The gopis, they see other gopis doing more service, but they're not envious. They glorify that. They want to be like them also. This is the only quality that cannot be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness, which means it doesn't exist there. Maharaj, you have something to say about envy?
This question.
Yes.
It has been pointed out from a philosophical point of view that if everything in the spiritual world is in the material world, then there wouldn't be distorted reflection. It's that very distortion. For instance, there's no death in the spiritual world. So one may say, so then where is death coming? It didn't come from the spiritual world. And where is it here in the material world? It's because of that distortion that is there. So that is also there. And actually in the Nectar of Devotion is one place where the word envy is actually there in a very high tattva, very esoteric, confidential mood of very advanced gopis. But that doesn't mean that that's the same. Sometimes for want of language, it may be the same word. But no, envy is, it's homegrown material world.
I can tell you one time, Prabhupada became envious. How was this? There was a letter to Krishnadas, LA, sometime in the 60s. And Krishnadas went to one place, can't remember. I know Shivananda Prabhu, he went to Germany. Maybe another devotee, Krishnadas went there also. So Prabhupada says, you such a young person, you sacrifice everything for Krishna, you went to a place where it's so difficult and many things may happen to you, I know when I'm at your age, I didn't do it. So I envy you. Because even though I was brought up in Krishna consciousness by my father, I was not able to spread Krishna consciousness not like you. So I envy you in that way. You see? Envy is there also.
It's a different meaning.
But that doesn't mean that, you know, that means he's glorifying that devotee. In spite of his young age, he went to a place to spread Krishna consciousness. And he wished that he was like him at his young age to do the same thing. Is that okay? Okay, one last one. One last one.
Yeah, just to comment on the point about envy. It's envy of Krishna, we're in a spiritual world, that kicks us out of the spiritual world. So, in one sense, envy simultaneously exists in the spiritual world and doesn't exist.
We want to be happy.
As soon as we become envious, then we're not in the spiritual world.
Yes, as soon as one is not thinking of Krishna, that means he wants to enjoy material energy. He wants to be like Krishna. And that is envy. Wanting to be like Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, hey! Very good, man.